My beloved child, listen to me very carefully right now. Your answer is coming now. Not later. Not someday. Not in another distant season. Now. I am speaking with urgency because this moment cannot be treated lightly. You have waited long enough. You have prayed long enough. You have endured long enough. And I am telling you clearly, the waiting season is ending. Stop scrolling. Stop doubting. This is not random. You did not find these words by accident. I brought you here because your spirit needed to hear my voice at this exact moment. Do not let distraction steal this from you. Do not let fear convince you this is for someone else. I am speaking directly to you. You who almost gave up. You who wondered if I was still listening. You who asked, Lord, when will my answer come? I am answering you now. I have had enough of the delay. I have watched you wrestle with confusion. I have seen you carry questions without resolution. I have heard the quiet frustration in your heart when you tried to stay strong but felt exhausted. I have seen the tears you wiped away so no one else would notice. And I am telling you, I have had enough of watching you struggle in silence. Do you understand what that means? It means movement is happening. It means heaven has shifted. It means what felt frozen is beginning to thaw. The season of endless waiting is not permanent. It was purposeful, but it is not permanent. Everything you have been asking for is now within reach. The breakthrough you prayed for. The clarity you begged me to give you. The restoration you hoped for in secret. The provision you asked me to release. It is closer than you realize. It is not floating in some distant future. It is aligning now. You were chosen to receive this moment. That is why you survived the delay. That is why you endured the silence. That is why you did not completely walk away when doubt tried to swallow you. If you had quit, you would not be here right now. If you had surrendered to despair, you would not be positioned for what is unfolding. Many prayed, but they stopped believing. Many asked, but they stopped waiting. Many hoped, but they hardened their hearts when answers did not come quickly. You did not harden completely. You struggled, yes. You questioned, yes. But you did not sever your connection to me. That matters more than you know. If you ignore this moment, you may miss what you prayed for. I am not speaking this to frighten you. I am speaking this to awaken you. When answers come, they require response. When doors open, they require movement. When blessings arrive, they require readiness. Do not become so used to delay that you fail to recognize acceleration. Within the next few moments, I will reveal why the delay happened and why it cannot continue. But first, I need you to settle your heart and truly receive this declaration. Your answer is coming now. You thought I forgot. I did not forget. You thought I was silent because I did not care. But my silence was not absence. It was strategy. There were battles you could not see. There were alignments you could not understand. There were details that had to fall into place before your answer could be released safely. I know how tired you became. I know how many times you said, I cannot wait any longer. I heard you. I was closer than you realized. I was strengthening you in ways you did not recognize. Because sometimes the answer you asked for requires a stronger version of you to carry it. But now something has shifted. What was once delayed is now authorized. What was once held back is now being released. The timing that felt distant is now present. You must take this seriously right now. This is not the time for casual faith. This is not the time for half-belief. This is not the time to shrink back into old patterns of doubt. If you continue acting like someone who expects delay, you may hesitate when movement begins. Everything you have been asking for is here, not in theory, not in imagination, but in alignment. The connection you prayed for is aligning. The opportunity you asked me to open is approaching. The peace you begged me to restore is being poured out. Do not underestimate how quickly things can change when I decide it is time. You spent months, maybe years, in preparation without realizing it. And preparation always precedes sudden movement. What feels sudden to you was planned long before. You were chosen to receive this because you endured what others could not. You learned patience when you wanted speed. You learned surrender when you wanted control. You learned to seek me when nothing made sense. That endurance positioned you. I am telling you again, your answer is coming now. Feel the urgency in my voice. Hear the firmness in my tone. This is not a gentle suggestion. This is a declaration. Do not waste your only chance by remaining in a mindset of delay. Do not cling to the identity of someone who is always waiting. Step into the mindset of someone who is receiving. The waiting season is ending. The silent season is closing. The dry season is shifting. God's plan is always greater if you've released your own plans into His hands. Within the next few moments, I will explain why I allowed the delay and why it cannot continue any longer. But for now, let this settle into your spirit like a seal. Your answer is not lost. It is not forgotten. It is not canceled. It is coming now. My beloved child, now I will explain to you why the delay lasted so long, because your heart deserves understanding. You have asked me many times, sometimes with tears, sometimes with frustration, sometimes with quiet surrender, why, Lord? Why is this taking so long? And I heard every question. I sought every sigh. I felt every moment when your hope began to feel heavy. But listen carefully now, because the delay was not empty. It was not random. It was not careless. There were hidden reasons behind your waiting that you could not see from where you stood. You saw closed doors. I saw unseen dangers. You saw silence. I saw preparation. You saw stillness. I saw movement behind the scenes. There were spiritual battles happening that you did not know about. While you were praying on earth, there were forces resisting the answer. There were obstacles that needed to be removed before your blessing could safely reach you. Not everything is visible to your eyes, but nothing escapes mine. I was working in realms you could not perceive. I was blocking attacks you did not know were aimed at you. I was restraining situations that could have harmed you if they had unfolded too soon. You thought nothing was happening because you could not see change in your circumstances. But just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is no movement. There were alignments being arranged. There were hearts being shifted. There were timelines being synchronized. If I had released the answer before those alignments were complete, it would not have lasted. Sometimes the greatest protection feels like delay. You also needed character formation through silence. Silence stretches you in ways noise never can. When you cannot hear constant reassurance, you learn to trust deeply. When you cannot rely on visible signs, you learn to walk by faith. In the quiet, your roots grew stronger. In a waiting, Your endurance deepened. You learned patience even when it felt painful. You learned surrender, even when control felt safer. You learned to come to me not just for answers, but for presence. That growth was necessary. If I had answered you immediately, you would have received the blessing but not the strength. You would have gained relief but not resilience. You would have celebrated but you would not have matured. There was protection for a premature blessing. That is something you must understand clearly. A blessing given too early can become a burden. A door opened before you are ready can overwhelm you. An opportunity released before your character can carry it can destroy the very thing you prayed for. I saw what you were asking for. I saw your desire. I saw your longing. And I knew it would come. But I also saw what needed to change inside you first. I saw areas where insecurity still whispered loudly. I saw places where fear still held influence. I saw patterns that needed to be broken before promotion could be trusted. The delay was not punishment. It was preparation. You felt emotional exhaustion. You felt drained from hoping and not seeing results. There were days when you told yourself, I cannot keep waiting like this. I saw that exhaustion. I did not ignore it. I did not dismiss it. I knew the weight was heavy. I knew the silence felt long. But your exhaustion did not mean abandonment. It meant you were stretching beyond your comfort. Growth often feels like strain before it feels like strength. You became stronger than you realized during this delay. You developed deeper discernment. You learned not to rush into every opportunity that appeared. You became less dependent on applause and more anchored in quiet obedience. You did not see this transformation clearly because you were focused on what you lacked. But I saw it. I saw patience forming. I saw humility growing. I saw your reliance on me becoming less emotional and more stable. You asked why I did not answer sooner. Hear me clearly now. I was not denying you, I was preparing you. I was preparing you to handle what you prayed for without losing yourself. I was preparing you to receive blessing without becoming prideful. I was preparing you to walk into opportunity without fear controlling you. There were also things that had to be removed from your life before the answer could arrive. Certain attitudes, certain habits, certain mindsets. If the answer had come too soon, those old patterns would have damaged it. Delay removed with haste would have protected. Please support our channel. Our work is dedicated to bringing happiness into your life and guiding you toward devotion to God. If you would like to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. I needed you to see who truly stood with you. I needed you to recognize which voices were healthy and which were harmful. I needed you to detach from approval that would have limited you later. This process could not be rushed. You were not being forgotten. You were being fortified. Spiritual battles were unfolding behind the scenes. There were forces trying to discourage you into giving up. There were lies being whispered to weaken your hope. But I strengthened you quietly. I gave you endurance even when you felt weak. The enemy hoped delay would make you bitter, but instead it made you deeper. The enemy hoped silence would make you walk away, but instead it made you seek me more honestly. The waiting season built a version of you that is now ready. If the answer had come before the formation, you would not have appreciated it. You would not have protected it. You would not have stewarded it wisely. I was not denying you, I was preparing you. Even your emotional exhaustion had purpose. It showed you your limits. It forced you to surrender pride. It taught you that you cannot carry everything alone. It pushed you closer to dependence on me. And now that preparation is complete, the delay cannot continue. What was once necessary is no longer required. What was once protective is now shifting into release. You survived the waiting. You endured the silence. You grew in ways you did not recognize. And now, because you were prepared in hidden places, you are ready to receive what once would have overwhelmed you. The delay lasted long because the preparation had to be thorough. But the preparation has done its work. I was not denying you, I was preparing you. My beloved child, listen carefully now, because something has shifted in the unseen realm. This is not imagination. This is not emotion. This is a decision. Heaven has made a decision concerning you. The waiting period that once surrounded your life has reached its completion. What was once necessary is no longer permitted to continue. I am speaking with authority now. A divine shift has been declared. You have waited through seasons that felt endless. You have endured silence that felt heavier than noise. You have stood in faith when your hands were tired and your heart was weary. And there comes a point when preparation is complete. There comes a moment when delay has fulfilled its purpose. That moment has arrived. Heaven has reviewed your endurance. Heaven has observed your faithfulness. Heaven has measured the growth that took place inside you while you were waiting. And now the verdict has been spoken. It is time. Do you understand the weight of that word? It is time. The waiting period has reached completion. Not because you demanded it, not because you forced it, but because the process finished its work. The roots have grown deep enough. The character hath been shaped enough. The humility has been secured. The discernment has matured. There is no longer a reason to hold back what has already been prepared. I have intervened. There were moments when I allowed things to unfold slowly. There were moments when I watched from silence while unseen battles were fought. But now I have stepped in with final authority. I have declared that what was postponed must now proceed. What was restrained must now be released. Justice and timing are aligning together. Timing without justice can feel unfair. Justice without timing can feel delayed. But when the two align, movement becomes undeniable. What you thought was forgotten has been recorded. What you thought was overlooked has been accounted for. What you thought was lost has been preserved. There were situations where you were misunderstood. There were moments where you were overlooked. There were times when you felt bypassed. But I saw, and I am not indifferent to what you endured. Justice does not always move at the pace you expect, but it always moves at the right time. And now that time has come, I will not allow this delay to continue. Hear that clearly in your spirit. I will not allow this delay to continue. The season of holding back has reached its limit. The stretching has done its work. The refining has accomplished its purpose. The endurance you built has qualified you for release. There were doors that remained closed because alignment was incomplete. Those alignments are finishing. There were conversations that had not yet occurred. They are occurring. There were decisions in the hands of others that needed to shift. They are shifting. I have intervened. You may not see it yet in full form, but movement has begun. The stillness you felt is breaking. The weight of stagnation is lifting. The tension of waiting is loosening its grip. Heaven has declared that the next chapter must begin. You asked me many times how much longer, and I did not always answer with words, but now I answer with action. What was once held in preparation is now being positioned for manifestation. Do not mistake this shift as random. It is intentional. It is calculated. It is precise. I do not rush what must be prepared, but I also do not delay what is ready. You are ready. The waiting period has completed its assignment. The growth required has taken place. The endurance required has been proven. The humility required has formed. And now heaven has spoken. Release. You may feel a change in the atmosphere around you. You may sense a subtle lift in your spirit. You may notice small confirmations appearing unexpectedly. Pay attention. These are signs that movement has begun. I have intervened in ways you cannot see. I have silenced voices that were working against you. I have restrained influences that sought to delay you further. I have accelerated processes that once seemed stuck. I will not allow this delay to continue. This is not emotional language. It is authority. It is declaration. It is divine instruction over your life. The enemy attempted to extend your waiting through discouragement. He hoped fatigue would cause you to abandon faith before the appointed time. But you remained. Imperfectly but sincerely, you remained. And because you remained, the decision now favors you. Justice is aligning with timing. There are blessings attached to obedience. There are opportunities attached to endurance. There are breakthroughs attached to perseverance. You have walked through what others would have avoided. You have stayed through what others would have escaped. Now you will see what staying produces. The delay cannot continue because its purpose is finished. To delay further would no longer refine you. It would burden you. And I do not refine without purpose. My beloved child, heaven has made a decision. The season of endless questioning is ending. The chapter of waiting without clarity is closing. What begins next will require your attention. It will require your readiness. It will require your willingness to move when I say move. But understand this clearly. You are not stepping into this by accident. You are stepping into it because it was declared. I will not allow this delay to continue. Lift your head. Prepare your heart. Expect movement. The shift has been spoken. And what heaven declares cannot remain hidden for long. Right, you are my hiding place, God, if He's your refuge and safe shelter. My beloved child, now I want you to listen with your whole heart, because I am about to speak about the very things you whispered to me when no one else was listening. You may think I have forgotten the details of your prayers, but I remember every word. I remember the tone of your voice. I remember the nights you lay awake rehearsing the same request over and over again. I remember the frustration when nothing seemed to move. And I tell you now, everything you have been asking for has been heard. You asked me for financial relief when the pressure felt too heavy. You looked at numbers that did not add up. You wondered how you would sustain what you were responsible for. You felt the weight of bills, obligations, expectations. You asked me quietly, sometimes with embarrassment, sometimes with urgency, to provide. You worried that your faith was too small, that your request was too repetitive. But I did not grow tired of your asking. I was shaping provision in ways you could not yet see. Financial breakthrough is not only about money appearing suddenly. It is about stability, wisdom, opportunity, and timing aligning together. There are doors that are opening that will create movement in your resources. There are ideas forming that will lead to increase. There are shifts coming that will ease the pressure you have felt. I do not ignore practical needs. I am aware of every detail that concerns you. But understand this. Sometimes I delayed provision because I was teaching you stewardship. I was teaching you to trust me beyond numbers. I was teaching you to rely on my timing rather than panic decisions. And now that lesson has matured in you, breakthrough can flow safely. You also asked me for emotional healing. That wound you carry, the one you rarely speak about, the one that still aches when certain memories rise, I saw it. I saw how you tried to move forward while parts of your heart were still hurting. I saw how you smiled publicly while grieving privately. You asked me to remove the pain. You asked me to heal what betrayal damaged. You asked me to restore your confidence. Healing does not always come in a moment. Sometimes it comes layer by layer. I allowed you to sit with your emotions instead of running from them. I allowed you to confront pain instead of bearing it. That process was not easy, but it was necessary. And now you are closer to wholeness than you realize. The heaviness you once carried constantly is lifting. The memories that once triggered sharp pain are losing their power. The fear of being hurt again is slowly releasing its grip. I am restoring your emotional strength. I am rebuilding trust within you. I am renewing joy that felt distant. You also prayed about relationships. Some of you asked for restoration where distance had grown. Some asked for reconciliation after misunderstanding. Some asked for a divine connection, a person who would understand your heart, respect your growth, and walk beside you in alignment. I heard those prayers. I saw the loneliness you tried to ignore. I saw the disappointment when expectations were not met. I saw the longing for companionship that felt safe and sincere. For some, restoration is coming where healing has taken place. Conversations that once seemed impossible are becoming possible. Hearts that were hardened are softening. Pride is breaking. Clarity is rising. For others, a divine connection is being prepared. Timing matters. Alignment matters. Character matters. The right connection at the wrong time can damage both people. That is why I waited. But now alignment is forming. You will not have to force what is meant for you. It will recognize you as you recognize it. You also asked me for clarity and direction. You grew tired of uncertainty. You wanted to know which step to take, which path to follow, which decision would bring peace instead of confusion. You did not want to move blindly. You wanted assurance. Clarity is coming. Not always in loud announcements, but in steady conviction. The confusion that once clouded your thinking is clearing. The path that once felt foggy is becoming visible step by step. I do not always reveal the entire road at once, but I reveal enough for the next faithful step. Everything you have been asking for is connected to preparation. Now that preparation has completed its work, movement begins. You cried in secret for these things. You whispered prayers in the dark. You questioned whether your requests were too small or too large. But I tell you now, what you cried for in secret has been heard. Not one tear was wasted. Not one prayer was ignored. Not one sigh went unnoticed. You asked for peace. Peace is being released. You asked for stability. Stability is forming. You asked for breakthrough. Breakthrough is aligning. But here is what you must understand. Sometimes the answer arrives differently than you imagined. You asked for change, but I gave you growth first. You asked for relief, but I gave you strength first. You asked for doors to open, but I closed others to redirect you. Now the season shifts from preparation to manifestation. Financial pressure will not define your future. Emotional wounds will not control your identity. Loneliness will not be your permanent state. Confusion will not dictate your direction. What you cried for in secret had been heard. There is movement in places you cannot yet see. There are responses forming. There are approvals aligning. There are conversations beginning. There are internal healings completing. Do not doubt this moment. Do not question whether you deserve it. You endured the delay. You stayed through the silence. You trusted imperfectly but sincerely. Now everything you have been asking for is coming into reach. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not denied. You were heard. And the answer is unfolding. My beloved child, now I will tell you why you were chosen to receive this moment, because you have questioned your worth more times than you admit. You have looked at others and wondered why your path felt harder, why your waiting felt longer, why your silence felt heavier. But what you did not understand is that your testing was qualification. Your endurance was evidence. Your faithfulness was preparation for selection. You were chosen because you remained faithful during testing. Not perfectly faithful, not without struggle, not without questions, but faithful. When life pressed against you, when prayers seemed unanswered, when doors remained closed longer than you expected, you did not completely walk away. You wrestled. You doubted. You grew tired. But you did not sever your connection with me. There were moments when you wanted to quit. There were days when you felt like giving up entirely. You looked at your situation and thought, what is the point of continuing? Yet something inside you kept holding on. That something was faith, fragile at times but alive. And I saw it. Faithfulness is not loud. It does not always look dramatic. Sometimes faithfulness looks like showing up again when you are tired. Sometimes it looks like whispering a small prayer when you have no energy for long ones. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to speak bitterness even when pain invites it. That is the faithfulness I saw in you. You were loyal under silence. That loyalty is rare. Many stay close to me when answers come quickly. Many praise loudly when blessings are visible. But silence reveals the heart. Silence shows whether your devotion is tied to results or rooted in relationship. When you felt my silence, you questioned me, yes. But you did not curse me. You did not completely abandon me. You still reached for me in the dark. That loyalty under silence is what separated you. You endured despite discouragement. The enemy tried to exhaust you. He tried to make waiting feel pointless. He tried to convince you that nothing would ever change. There were days when discouragement felt heavier than hope. There were nights when you wondered if your faith was foolish. But even in discouragement, you did not quit completely. You slowed down, but you did not stop. You cried, but you did not collapse permanently. You stepped back at times, but you did not walk away for good. That endurance matters more than you realize. Endurance builds depth. Endurance builds character. Endurance builds spiritual strength that comfort never could. Spiritual maturity was developing inside you while you thought nothing was happening. You became more discerning. You became more aware of your weaknesses. You became more honest in your prayers. You stopped pretending. You began seeking truth instead of appearance. Maturity does not mean you stopped feeling pain. It means you learned how to carry pain without letting it define you. It means you learned to pause before reacting. It means you learned to surrender control when outcomes were unclear. You became less reactive and more reflective. You began asking, "What is God teaching me here?" instead of only asking, "Why is this happening to me?" That shift is maturity. You were chosen to receive this because you grew in hidden places. You were refined where no one applauded you. You were strengthened where no one noticed you. That kind of growth creates stability. If I had released this moment to you earlier, before the testing shaped you, you would not have been ready. You might have celebrated, but you would not have sustained it. Now you are different. Now you are anchored. Now you are less driven by emotion and more guided by conviction. You did not quit, that is why you qualify. Hear that clearly. You did not quit, that is why you qualify. Qualification in my kingdom is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. It is not about having no doubt. It is about returning after doubt. It is not about never stumbling. It is about standing back up. You qualified because you kept coming back to me. Even when you felt ashamed. Even when you felt weak. Even when you felt disappointed. You kept returning. You qualified because you chose growth over bitterness. You could have hardened your heart. You could have blamed everyone. You could have decided that trust was too costly. But instead, you softened. You learned. You healed solely. You qualified because you remained teachable. You allowed correction. You allowed conviction. You allowed humility to shape you. That openness is rare. You were chosen not because you were the loudest, but because you were consistent. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Many want breakthrough, but few endure the process required to carry it. Many want elevation, but few accept refinement. You accepted refinement even when you did not understand it. Now the fruit of that refinement is appearing. You were chosen to receive this because your heart can carry it without pride. Because your spirit can steward it without fear. Because your maturity can handle responsibility. You did not quit, that is why you qualify. And now that you know this, step into this moment with confidence rooted in humility. You were not overlooked. You were being prepared. Your faithfulness qualified you. Your loyalty under silence distinguished you. Your endurance despite discouragement strengthened you. And now you stand ready not by accident but by growth. You did not quit, that is why you qualify. Say, "I stand victorious in faith" if you're believing for breakthrough against all odds, and share this video.